Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my man cave. It's Friday night once again, uh, so we're going to do our thing like we do. I've got brother Jeff hanging in here with us. Jeff, how are you?
Doing great.
Jeff is at his Swiss mountain retreat in the Alps, high above the snow line, uh,
Yeah.
hanging out again. And my better half, Tanya, and my sous chef Lily is hanging out down there running the show. I see Lily's on the keyboard duty tonight.
She is.
Stephen Hickey's with us tonight with some Chattanooga whiskey.
That's good
Awesome.
stuff.
I haven't tried that one before. That'd be one I have to check out. James, glad you could make it in here with us. I'm gonna have a glass of whiskey. Jeff, or what are you having tonight?
I'm having Four Roses small batch select.
Awesome, Hank. Glad you could make it. I'm getting close to making a dead soldier here with my Jack Daniel's single barrel select. Let's see how much is left after I. Well, you know what? That's going to work out. We're gonna empty that one. That's a slightly thick pour, but there's not enough left to leave behind. So we'll have a good cheers for everybody tonight. BC Fran 3 and west coast of Canada. Awesome. We're covering all the time zones. Reno, Nevada. Peter, glad you could make it with us tonight. Randy. Randy likes that Woodford Reserve. I think that's Randy's go-to bourbon. He's having that about every Friday night. Tanya, are you drinking with us?
Gin wine tonight, or no, excuse me, ginger ale tonight.
Ginger ale. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Tanya's been off all week, guys. She's been on spring break this week, and she's been hanging around the house here all week, and we've been doing all kind of fun stuff. Huzaifa's with us tonight. Huzaifa, hang in there. We're gonna look at some dry aged pork tonight. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. I pulled out that big rack of pork that I put in the steak locker earlier this week and broke it down. Steven's out in Nashville. Hopefully, I'm going to get to see Steven again before too long here. Maybe if we get this summer event thing finalized out in Roswell at Atlanta Grill Company, and maybe Steven's going to be able to come out to that, and we'll all get around the table with a couple of bottles of bourbon. I'm holding on to this bottle of E.H. Taylor that I have in the cabinet for a get together in case we are able to get together with a crew. I'm bringing that bottle, so I'll be more than happy to share that bottle around the table with everybody. So more on that later. I don't have any final details yet. I've been asking, and Atlanta Grill Company doesn't have final details on that yet either, so I can't really go any further than that.
Oh, looky here.
Quinn's from New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
also, I got a message from, let's see, hang on a second. I'm trying to multitask here. Jeff, what did you cook this week?
John, I'm in barbecue Kamado bark timeout chair.
Are you?
Yeah. Other than my white chili that I cooked earlier in the week, I haven't really cooked anything on any of my grills because I've been dealing with the bathroom and getting my
Right.
carpet out of
Yeah,
the shop. So
I know you've been busy. But my
it's
my buddy Glenn down in Australia sent me a message. I haven't responded to him yet, but he may be able to come on with us next Friday night, which will be Saturday morning his time. And I'm going to respond to him tonight or tomorrow and try to finalize that and solidify that. We're going to bring Glenn on, and uh, I want to go through Glenn's Facebook, and I want to download a bunch of pictures of stuff this guy's cooked, and then talk about some of those specific things that Glenn does, and maybe spend a little bit of time talking about the difference between Australian Q and American Q. I think Glenn's going to be a lot of fun. So Glenn, I don't know if you're in here with us tonight or not, but if you are, I'm going to get with you in the next day or so, and we'll finalize that. I've been trying to get Glenn on for a while, and Glenn had been sick and unable to join us, but he sent me a message that said he's ready. So we'll hopefully next Friday night we'll have Glenn. So I'll give you some more on that a little bit later. Tanya, I'm going to drop you down, and we'll bring you back here closer to the end. All right. So Jeff is on vacation from Grills. He's been busy. Jeff has done an amazing remodel of a bathroom that resulted from a busted pipe, was it, Jeff?
Yeah, busted hot water pipe.
Yeah.
Flooded
Instead
the
of
house
just
and took out the bathroom.
fixing the busted pipe, Jeff did a $1 million makeover on this bathroom. It's totally new, so it looks amazing. He sent me some pictures of it. Randy, I've got access to some Woodford. I'll grab a bottle of that to try. I can always get that at my local shop. I'm in the process, like I said, of settling in. This Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select is going to be my whiskey, and the Knob Creek variations that I can get are going to be my Kentucky bourbons. And I haven't settled in yet on my favorite Scotch or Irish whiskeys, and I'll probably expand that a little bit more. I really do like this Highland Park Scotch that I have here, and I may experiment with a higher end bottle of that before I try something else, but we'll see how it pans out. I've had a good week, man. We've had some, for the most part here this week, we have had some amazing weather here in Western North Carolina. Yesterday and today both, we saw 75 degrees here and mostly sunny. It was partly cloudy. It clouded up a little bit late this afternoon and sprinkled a little bit of rain, but beyond that, it was crazy. Jeff, how's the weather where you are up in North Georgia right now?
Well, we had the storm blow through here about midday, which you should be getting here probably early this morning, probably about 2 a.m. You should be hitting it your way. Got pretty nasty right now. The clouds, it's so cloudy out there. You can't see the other side of the mountain from where I'm at.
Right. I know the weather's always sunny in Florida, so I'm not even going to ask about that. So
that's a lie. Wait 5 minutes and it'll change.
Yeah, we've got conditions like that in the mountains here. If you go up to Boone, and have you ever been up into Boone and Blowing Rock here in these mountains of North Carolina?
Yes, I love Boone, that little Appalachian town. That's
the weather's like that up there. The weather up there is like that. It can change. It can change dramatically in a very short amount of time, and you can't see it coming. Is the problem? No. Boone is in a valley and up in the mountains. So when that weather's coming across, you can't see it. You don't get any warning unless you're like watching a radar up there. So Andrew's having some 1792. I think I did 1792 last week, or did I have no, I had a glass of that one night this week. I've got that one bottle of the 1792 single barrel that's pretty good. Awesome. Steven's sending me a care package. Steven and I have been trading some bourbon and whiskeys for a while now. He's got a lot of good stuff, and I've given him samples of everything I've got that's worth drinking. Yeah, Gary, App State. That's definitely the major population center of Boone. Boone's population is made up of retirees and college students, and the retirees are only there during the summer months. They're not up there when school's in. So, yeah, Boone is what I'd call North Florida. Isn't that right, Jeff? It's all the Floridians that come up to the cooler climate in the summertime. Yep. There's a lot of them in Boone and Blowing Rock. It's crazy up there. All right, let's talk about some of the mischief I had here this week, which wasn't a whole lot. I'm gonna bring some pictures up. Since this month we're doing this Atlanta Grill Company River Street Seaboard seafood seasoning that I like so well. Jeff is the reason we brought this in as the third one. Jeff wanted that one up, and I really like it. So we're going to do some stuff with that. I wanted to do a test this week. So I wanted to play with this. Wait a minute. No, hang on. Yeah, this is one of the tests I did. I seasoned this. This is barramundi, guys. For what it's worth, if you have a Costco near you, they've got these bags in the frozen food section that have these barramundi fillets, and I think it's like a 3-pound bag, roughly. And these barramundi fillets are individually shrink wrapped or individually vacuum sealed in packages inside that bag, and each one of them is roughly 6 ounces. They're vastly different in shape, and this is one of the better looking fillets that was in that package. And I decided to pull that out and do a lunch one day this week with that. So what I did was I seasoned it not too heavily with the River Street Seaboard. One of the things I have learned about River Street Seaboards, it's got a good bit of salt in it. So you have to be careful with it not to over salt seafood with it. So I seasoned it, and I got one of my skillets out and got it nice and hot with some avocado oil and put this guy in here and just did a pan sear on it. And one of the things I want to show you about fish is this is a fairly decent picture of what's happening here. I hope you can see right over here on the right side. You can see that fish starting to turn white. It's turning opaque and changing color as it cooks. You can literally watch fish cook. You don't need a thermometer to know when fish is ready. Most of the fish and shellfish, if you want to use a thermometer, you're going to target 135 to 140 Fahrenheit for that to be done. But I was just pan searing this and watching it. I wanted to get a good crispy sear on one side of it. So yeah, well, Glenn knows how to say that. Do I not say it correctly? Is that I don't know where barramundi comes from. Is that a fish that they have in Australia? We'll have to find out from that. But yeah, I'll definitely bring that to Glenn. And I got myself a really nice little caramelized crust on the back side of this. This is actually the skin side. I probably should have cooked that the other side down first, because that would have been a better presentation side on this fish. But here you can see again in this picture how my opaque has changed, and there's only just a little bit here left in the middle that's not completely cooked yet. And at this point, I went ahead and pulled this fish out of the pan because I wanted to make a pan sauce. I tossed in some butter. I deglazed this pan with some butter and a little bit of Jack Daniels. And then I put in a nice splash of heavy cream and then some of my River Street Seaboard seasoning. And I got my whisk out and stirred that and let it get hot until it started to thicken up some. And then I tossed my fish fillet back in there. I had also lowered the heat on the stove at that point. I tossed the fillet back in there and basted it in this amazing sauce to let it finish cooking. And then I set that guy aside, and I had steamed some green beans in a steamer. I gave these about 8 or 9 minutes of steam time, and then I tossed them in this pan sauce and gave them a good toss around. And that was lunch one day this week for me. It was really amazing. I'm missing something here. I need to go back for a second, because this is the second thing I did while I was testing the flavor options with this. I think I may have shown it last week, or the shrimp. I can't remember if I showed you guys the shrimp I cooked or not. I think I did, but I was working towards the same goal with that. Well, anyway, I wanted to play with that sauce idea here on the the butter and cream sauce. That worked out pretty well. But the video that I did, I showed that last week, didn't I? Jeff, did I do that? I showed the shrimp and the scallops last week, right?
Yep.
Okay, I've got myself confused. I continued forward with that with the shrimp and the scallops. I did not make a cream sauce there. I just used the butter and whatnot. I didn't do that. It's a little different, but this was the next progression of that with the cream, to bring the cream to that and the whiskey. It was really, really good. So if you want to do a simple fish fillet, you could do that exact same thing with about any kind of fish fillet you want. I wouldn't do it with tuna. I wouldn't do it with mahi maybe, or swordfish, but your softer fishes, you could do that. That would that work on salmon, Jeff? How you wouldn't put a cream sauce on salmon, would you?
I would put a cream sauce on salmon, but that would work great with grouper, pollock, either one of those. That's
What
nice.
about some? You could pull that off on sea bass as well, probably.
Yeah, chili and sea
That would-
bass would be great on.
Right, but it's not. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it on salmon or your firmer fishes. This needs to go with a soft fish, and tuna. I'm thinking about wrapping up next week on this River Street Seaboard. I'm thinking about doing some seared ahi fillets, and
It's
do
great on
those.
that.
Yeah.
Do that on
But
your
what
silky bone. Mm.
what I'm thinking about doing though, Jeff, is I'm not gonna pre-season with this. I'm gonna finish it with this after it's cooked.
Okay.
How do you think that would fare if I shook this on those on if I get me a nice sashimi grade tuna fillet and shape it into a nice rectangle, even thickness, and just get that sear on the outside, and then slice that guy, and then shake the seaboard.
That'd be
on
good.
it. You think that would be okay? You think
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
I'll do that, because I haven't
Listen,
done
I did mine before I cooked it, and it
Mhm.
was off the hook.
I haven't done the a seared tuna steak like that in a long time. And you just barely sear the outside of it. I would either sear it in ghee. I'd probably sear that in ghee instead of the avocado oil, but I'd get
Yeah.
that stone nice and hot where it's going to get a quick sear, and we're going to be raw down the middle of that thing, like
Definitely.
I like it. So yeah,
Get about that 1/16 to 1/8 inch cooked
yeah,
sear on it. Both
I want
sides.
that stone screaming hot, and I want that oil practically smoking when I drop that fillet on. So okay, we might do that. Scott's coming. He says he's bringing drinks. I don't know what day I'm going to get that done. I'm going to get it done probably Tuesday or Wednesday, because I'm having to work an extra shift next week on Thursday, and I'm not going to want to mess with cooking on Thursday. So we'll see. I'm probably going to get that done early. So back to the pictures. Here's one half of that rack of pork coming out of the dry ager. I put it in the steak locker for 20 days, and this is what it looks like coming out. And once again, I had trouble breaking this down. This is the small end, and you can actually see here, this is only the bottom 3 bones, and the rest of this is what became part of a boneless loin piece that I'm going to show you here in a minute. This is what it looked like from one end, and this is the backside of it. And guys, I have come to the conclusion that I'm just not properly equipped, trained, nor do I have the patience to break this down in this format. I was able to get this half of it down. I took my bone saw and I sliced, I cut right down through here. This is the spinal canal. If any of you are familiar with anatomy, this gap right here is where the spinal cord runs from the head to the toe, from the head to the tail, or the head to the pelvis, to be more accurate. And this is the thinner end of it. It's thicker as you go up, and we'll see some of that here in a minute. But I was able to slice through that with my bone saw, and then get up under these bones with my boning knife and get the meat out on this end. And this is what I harvested out of that end. And this is also trimmed up. I've got one nice 3-bone roast here from those 3 bones I showed you. And I've got another piece. This would be part of the boneless loin, pork loin. And I had one chop that I trimmed off of this edge over here or this edge over here to even this guy up to where I liked it. This is a really thick chop. It's about 1.5 inches thick. And I went ahead and tied all that up and vacuum sealed that, and that's all in the refrigerator. On the other half of this guy, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bones here left up here on this end, and I've got a lot more of the bigger spinous processes, or what these call, part of the spinous processes and part of the rib actually. And this piece proved to be a little bit too difficult for me to get apart with what I have. This is the same problem I ran into with that big bone-in ribeye, breaking it down. Here's the backside of what that looks like on the backside before I started hacking at it. And here's the other view of it. You know, I've got a nice pellicle on there. Here, I did get through this with the bone saw and was able to, you know, I made a mess getting that part of the spine off, but then there's still this part of the spine, and I was not really able with the saw that I have to come down and take that off. So what I ended up doing with this guy was getting the meat out, and I parceled it into several really, really thick pork chops here, and I kept 2 smaller, thinner ones out here on the side because I was going to try one of these pan-sear and that just to try it and taste it, and that's what I ended up with. So yesterday morning for breakfast, I pan-seared one of these things. I got my pan hot and I used avocado oil again, and I used my own salt, pepper, garlic blend on this one just to pan-sear it and get a little bit of a crust on it. And I cooked that up to an internal temp of about 135. And let me figure out how I want to talk about what I ended up with here. If you've had dry aged beef before, you know that the flavor of the beef is more intense. The dry aging process intensifies the beef flavor. It also amplifies the tenderness of that beef. This meat, you can't let this dry age for the same lengths of time that you let beef. You know, I didn't tell you why I only went 20 days. That was the recommended time by the people who make Steak Locker. Pork does not have the same amount of internal fat that beef does at any level. A beef loin, a beef loin, you know where the filet mignon comes from, guys? That's a leaner piece of meat than something like a strip or a ribeye, but there's still intermuscular marbling in there that you can see. You don't have much of that at all in the pork, and because of that, you can't go the distances. They said you can't do the times. Anybody that wants to try it, feel free to try it, but I've been highly recommended not to go past 21 days, so I didn't, and that's why I stopped here. But the flavor of this guy, it had an intensified, you know, pork has this natural sweetness to it, and that sweetness is intensified. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The sweetness is there's no funk to this. This didn't have a funk of any kind because of the short-term dry aging, but the tenderness on this pork, it had the same sort of characteristics that I see in beef. When you've got a good piece of dry aged beef, you can almost mold that beef in your fingers. You can stick your finger in it and make an indentation, and it makes an indentation. It's like putty. It's like it. I don't know how to describe it. It's not like a thick. You know, if you take your finger and push a dent into a steak that's, you know, not aged, it bounces right back. It recoils. These have that tenderness that they don't do that. The muscle fiber has broken down to some degree through this enzymatic reaction that happens during the dry aging process. And this pork had some very good tenderness to it. It had some very good flavor to it. I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to do it with a whole pork loin, a whole boneless one, instead of I'm not going to mess with the bone in unless I can get the butcher out at Publix to go ahead and take the spine off of it for me. If I can
Oh,
get
they
them to
do
do
that.
that, do what?
They'd do that for you.
Well, and I didn't realize I needed to ask for that when I bought this one. So I may talk to the butcher again. Those guys know me. I don't know if they hate to see me coming or not, because I'm always asking for something that's not the way they sell it, And it's
No,
it's
they
all
don't mind.
because I don't have a local butcher. I could drive to Asheville or to Charlotte and get this done, but that's a 2-hour round trip at a minimum either way. And Publix is closer. Publix is only a 50-mile round trip. So,
John, you gonna take one of those chops and cure it?
I hadn't thought about that.
I just wonder how that would come out after you dry age it, how that, because it already intensifies that sweetness. You put a cure on there. I bet you that would be off the hook. It's either going to be off the hook or it's going to be, oh my God, we're not going to do this again.
Okay. So what you're thinking is I could take that boneless piece that I tied up and put a cure on it and turn that into a Canadian bacon.
Well, not so much a Canadian bacon, but a cured pork chop. And I don't know if I would take that big piece just in case it didn't come out. I think I would go with one of your smaller chops and try to do a cure on it.
If I cure it, isn't it essentially turn it in? Because that's the way I make Canadian bacon in the past, is to cure pork loin.
Yeah, but I think you're curing it a little bit longer than what you would cure if you were just doing like a ham type cured.
Maybe I'll look at that. It would be worth a try.
It's either going to be off the hook or it's going to be okay. We'll pass on doing that again.
I can't imagine it not being decent. It's got to be decent.
I would think. Like I said, it's either going to be one or the other.
It's kind of difficult because I don't know anybody that's done this before.
I don't either. That's why I was asking if you thought about doing it.
No, I hadn't thought about doing it, but I'm glad you mentioned it because I think I will. I think what I might do a short cure, like you said. I will mix up the same curing brine that I use for the Canadian bacon, which is kind of an equilibrium brine. It's not overly salty. And I will take my Jacquard and work that pork chop with the Jacquard, where I've got a lot of surface area in there, and I'll maybe do an overnight cure on it, and then do a pan sear on it and see how that pans out. That could be interesting. And even if it's not that interesting, that concept, I think that concept might have some merit in the regular world of smoking and grilling. I think you're onto something there, Jeff. My wheels are turning.
Well, it just dawned on me, because like I say, that dry age, it adds that sweetness, and then you turn around, you throw an equilibrium brine on it, which is a salty and a sweet, and I think it's going to be off the hook.
It's also going to have the Prague powder #1, the curing salt. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the idea behind the Disney style turkey legs, because those have this same sort of process. It's a shorter brine with a curing salt than a typical brine. It's not totally cured, but you get the flavor benefit that comes from the curing salt. So, okay, I'm game on this, Jeff. You've challenged me again. We're going to do this.
Like I say, it's either going to be off the hook or it's going to be, okay, we'll pass on that.
Well, I can't imagine it not being. I can't imagine it not being good, and I can also not imagine it not being great with my favorite, which is the molasses cinnamon brine that I do. Because that's bringing even more sweetness to this process, and
you may even take a piece and make the Canadian bacon, and it may take the Canadian bacon to the next level.
Well, I'm willing to do it because I know now that I can go buy a whole pork loin at Sam's Club for not a lot of money and keep trying this and not have any money tied up in it or any real effort, because the 20-day dry age doesn't create enough of a pellicle where I'm losing a lot of meat when I trim it up. So, and pork loin's inexpensive anyway. What I really like, what if I master this, if I come up with something that's awesome, I'm going to get one of the Heritage Farms Cheshire pork loins and play with that, because I know anything I do with that grade of pork is going to be way better than anything I'm going to buy at Sam's Club. So
Absolutely.
that's a good thought. Just out of curiosity, have any of you guys here that are listening ever had dry aged pork? If you have, let me know, and let me know where you got it, or let me know if you dry aged it yourself, because I'd like to bounce some ideas off of somebody who's experienced it before. So this week's video, I did, I've shown you guys this. I know you guys have seen this several times. I've done my crustless, keto-friendly deep dish pan pizzas, and I wanted to make a video of that process, so I did yesterday. And I started this out this week with some really high-end ground beef that I got from Porter Road. I got this 1 pound package, and this is, guys, this is really some amazing ground beef for what it's worth. If you're ever going to order anything from porterroad.com, add in a pound of this and see what you think about it. It's really crazy. So what I did was I browned that ground beef, and I diced some onions and green pepper. And this time around, I cooked that in with the ground beef rather than saving it for later, just to add to the pizza raw. I wanted to par cook it before it went in the pizza. So I fired up my Alpha oven to do this because, once again, I just love cooking on this thing. One of the things I wanted to comment about here is, if you look over here on the left, this is not a huge log. What that is a huge piece of lump charcoal that I've been saving. I found this in a bag of Kamado Joe Big Block. It was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches long, and it was as big around as a grapefruit. It was a really huge piece of lump. And I would never, ever put that in the Kamado grill without breaking it into a lot smaller pieces. So I decided to save it to use in a wood-fired oven, because one of the advantages of these smaller wood-fired ovens is that if you want to run them at low temperatures like 350 to 400, lump charcoal is your best friend, especially if you've got a couple of huge pieces like this. I fired this oven up about an hour before I was ready to cook on it to let it get preheated really well. And then when I had a nice bed of coals with just a little bit of flame, I raked them all over to the left side and tossed that piece of lump on and let it sit for another half hour. And that grill got solid at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and it sat there, and it sat there, it sat there, and it sat there. So that was going to be a perfect temperature for cooking this. You could cook this anywhere between 350 and 450. You just want to keep your eyes on it, because you're not cooking to a time or a temperature. You're just cooking till that cheese melts up on top and everything's nice and brown and it's bubbly around the edges. This is one of those cooks and one of these cooking styles where you're using your eyes to tell you when things are done rather than anything else. But these, here's another better picture of that piece of a lump coal. And that thing just kept this oven solid at 400 degrees for a really long time. So what I did with these are my 16-ounce oval cast iron dishes that that my mom got me for Christmas. These are Lodge cast iron pieces, and these are part of what I featured in yesterday's video on Atlanta Grill Company, where we do the gadget of the month. I talked about Lodge pieces that I have that I like, and these are 2 of those. And I kept turning them and rotating them. I moved them 4 or 5 times in there while they were cooking, so they would both cook evenly. And you can kind of see here what's going on. And this is what they look like when they're done. And for those of you who may not have seen this before, the way I make this is I just put some sauce, and I actually spray these pans with cooking spray to start with. I put some marinara style sauce in the bottom of the pan. I put a layer of pepperoni on it. Then I put my ground beef with green peppers and onions. I put another layer of pepperoni and then put cheese on top. And this video is out there today. I published this video on Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page and YouTube channel and shared it to some of the groups that we participate in as well. This is real easy. And when I cook this in my indoor oven, my little Breville Smart Oven. I run it at 375 degrees with convection, which is roughly 400. And it takes this about 18 minutes, 18 to 19 minutes to finish up in that oven. Well, in the Alpha, it took right at about 10. So that gives you an idea of how much faster things happen at the same temperature inside one of these wood-fired ovens. You've got convection, conduction, and radiant heat all working for you at the same time. So things do cook quicker in that environment. But these things look amazing. They're really, really delicious. They're keto friendly. That whole recipe's got like 8 grams of carbs. It's really a low carb meal. And I pulled them out and I let them rest for 3 or 4 minutes to cool down a bit. And this is what Tanya and I had for dinner last night. Let's bring Tanya back up here for a second, and let Tanya. How were these compared to my past? We do this a lot. So were these any better or worse than anything we've done in the past?
I think definitely an improvement with the cooking of the green pepper and the onion with the ground beef, because the sauce seemed to be a little bit thicker, because we've had some problems with the sauce getting a little runny.
Yeah. One of the things that happens is my sauce gets watery, and I've not been able to really sort that out. But I noticed the time that I did not put green peppers and onions on it, I didn't have that trouble. And I think the green peppers and onions are giving up enough moisture during the cook that it's making my sauce runny. So I think Tanya is the one that suggested, well, why don't you cook the green peppers and the onions with the ground beef? Duh, I didn't think of that. So I did that, and we didn't have that problem this time around. So it came out really well. I also used different pepperoni here than I normally use, which Tanya didn't like that aspect of it as well. I liked it better because I particularly like this pepperoni. This is Bridgeford pepperoni. It's nothing fancy, but I can buy it in the grocery stores in sticks, and I have to slice it up myself. I had been using the Hormel uncured pepperoni that Tanya likes, which is good. That stuff's good too. But when I went to the grocery store yesterday to get the rest of the things I needed to make this, I forgot to get more pepperoni. And I was looking in my fridge and I had this Bridgeford. So I decided instead of another $4.19 a gallon trip to the grocery store, I would use what I had. So Tanya, I was being thrifty.
You were.
I was being cost conscious.
Often.
Yeah, I was being cost conscious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get credit for that very often, so I have to claim it when I can, right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
And I just want to comment on those pans. Those pans are so versatile. You can cook so many individual meals in those. I love those pans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can cook individual meals in it. My mom bought me these for Christmas, and it was funny. Yesterday when I was at my mom's, I was showing mom pictures of these on my phone, and she was looking at that and talking about how great they looked. And she says, if I buy you another one of those pans, next time you make those, will you make one for me? So
of course, Mom.
Tanya, I think what we need to do one night is go to my mom's. I'll get 2 more of these pans because I won't have any problem whatsoever having 4 of those. And we'll go down and make them at mom's and cook them at her house, and we'll all have this for dinner. And guys, also, I know everybody's not doing keto. I think me and Jeff are the only people on the planet right now doing keto, but this
there's others, but we're the big ones.
If you don't want to do keto and low carb, do this with a crust. Get yourself a pizza crust and press it into the pan and do everything else that I've recommended here, or the same procedure I've done here, and you're going to end up with a deep dish pan pizza with a crust. And if you want to try something really off the hook, instead of using a typical pizza crust for this, get some of the get some of the canned biscuits, like the Grands or whatever. Take one biscuit, flatten that thing out, and make the biscuit into your pizza crust. You can do that as well. But
another quick and easy, John, is get that Urban Slicer, the Detroit stuff. That works great in those pans.
Right. the urban slicer kit makes a lot more than you'd need for one or two of these, though. You have
definitely.
to parcel it out or do a bunch of them. That urban slicer, the urban
Probably
slicer,
get 4 out of it.
the urban slicer Detroit kit's enough to do one 10 by 14 Detroit. That makes a good bit of dough. So, but you can buy, you can buy pizza dough at your typical grocery. In fact, Walmart even, they're in their is it in the deli area where they have those bags of the 1 pound bag of pizza doughs that cost $1?
Depends on which Walmart you're in. Some of them are in the deli section, and some of them are in the other sections. I mean, it's just look around, you'll find it.
Yeah, Cindy, there's a lot of sauce options for this. My issue once again is keto friendly, and there's only a handful of sauces I've found that are low enough carb for me to use in this. And the RAOs, how do you pronounce that, Tanya?
Rayos.
Rao's, RAO apostrophe S. Their marinara sauce and their bolognese sauce. I actually used the bolognese sauce in this one. That wasn't a marinara. It's like 5 grams of carbs per half a cup. And a half a cup's a perfect amount for this project. And most of the other pizza sauces and other pasta sauces that I've come across are 2 to 3 times as many carbs. They're not heavily carb laden, but they've got enough carbs in them that I won't do it for a single meal. But yet you can use any kind you like. Pick the one you like and make this with the sauce you like.
The Rayos pizza sauce is also keto friendly, John.
They have a pizza sauce?
Yeah.
Yep. It's in a little bottle. It's very good.
Ingles has it.
Okay, well, point
it
it
to
to me next time we're there. I didn't know they had it. So
yeah, I've used it before.
Well, why didn't you tell me this?
Well,
you didn't ask.
It just doesn't occur to me sometimes.
Because that sauce will probably be a thicker sauce. Pizza sauces are typically a little thicker than something like a marinara, and we might have solved our watery problem a little quicker.
Yeah.
John, just use your own recipe sauce that you have for pizza and just cook it down more. And
no, that sauce is too thin for this project. Tanya, I'm going to bring you back.
1 second.
Wait a minute. Say what?
You are so right, Anthony. Hopefully we beat Baylor tomorrow. Go Heels.
Yeah. Yeah. Tanya will be. Tanya, what time is that game tomorrow?
I have to double check. I want to think 4:30, but that might have been the one yesterday.
I'll be gone by then.
Basketball.
I'll be headed towards work by then, so we'll bring you back here in a bit. Okay, yeah, the NCAA tourney's going this week, or this weekend's the first few rounds of that. But this is a really great recipe. It's quick and easy. It's stupid easy to make, guys, and this is something I highly recommend trying. It takes the most time consuming part of that recipe is browning the ground beef. And one of the other things I've learned since Tanya and I do this so frequently is buy a couple pounds of ground beef, brown it all, put it in a vacuum seal bag or a Ziploc bag and throw it in your freezer and pull it out when you're ready to use it. It works great. You don't have to have it browned up the day you're going to cook it. Pre-browned ground beef works perfect in these pizzas. In fact, the last time I did ground beef, I did 3 pounds of it, and I packaged it out into 6-ounce packages because Tanya and I typically put 3 ounces a piece of ground beef on these when we make them this way. We've got it kind of measured out so we can count the calories and carbs that go in it. But you don't have to be anal about it like I am. So,
John, take your pizza sauce and simmer it for 2.5 hours, and I guarantee you that is going to be thicker than any sauce you buy, because that's what I do with your sauce.
Well, the pizza sauce that I've been using mostly on the most recent pizzas I've made, which has been a while, is one of the Ken Forkish recipes in the Elements of Pizza book. It's also in his flour, water, salt, and yeast book. and all it is crushed tomatoes and salt. It's one of the it's like a 700 gram or 28 ounce can of. He uses whole tomatoes and crushes them by hand, which is fine. And I can't remember how many grams of salt goes in that, but it's all, and it's delicious, man. But yeah, I could make my own pizza sauce, but once again, I'd have to figure out the carb load on that because tomatoes are high carb. Tomatoes bring a lot of carbs to the table. I don't know how that one would pan out carb wise. I don't know. I'll figure it out though. We'll look at it. So Josh is doing poor man's burn-in sliders with pickled red onions. Oh boy.
Off the
That's
hook.
gonna be good. I love pickled onions, man. I've done a pickled onions video. I know there's one on Atlanta Grill Company's page somewhere. Pickled onions. I have come to love that on a pulled pork barbecue sandwich more so than coleslaw now. And I like coleslaw an awful lot when it's done properly. But pickled onions go a long way for sure. So
and here's another thing, John. Kathy's been letting me use the Le Creuset on the bark.
oh yeah.
I tell you what, it cleans up great.
I don't see why she wouldn't. Yeah, they clean
Cleans
up. Everybody, you know what I've discovered about people in the barbecue community? They don't they're missing one thing: elbow grease.
Yep.
None of them have any elbow grease.
Well, I tell you what, it doesn't take a whole bunch to clean up that Le Creuset. It really
Nope.
doesn't.
A plastic scouring pad, like on the back side of those sponges, and Dawn dishwashing liquid will take it right off. It's not hard
Take
to
it right
get
off
it
and make it look like new and never been used.
Yeah, and I use the only thing you don't want to do is use your wife's Pyrex 9x13 dish on your grill. I ruined one. I turned one of Tanya's brown, and I swear I could not clean that. Have you ever put Pyrex?
Clorox.
Well, Clorox.
Clorox.
I could not unstain that Pyrex after I put it on there.
Clorox. Just spray it
Okay.
down. It'll take it off.
Well, I had to buy her a new one. That's been a long time ago that I did that, but I haven't put glass back on there. And now that you mentioned Le Creuset, did you see that new bread baker?
Yeah, but they don't have it in the artichoke.
I don't think
They
they
got
have
it in
it in
yours,
the,
though.
they don't have it in the flat black either. They didn't have the licorice, did they?
Oh, wait, no, they don't have the licorice. I thought you had the gray. I'm sorry.
No, I don't. I like the licorice, that flat black color, but the cerise, that red one, I could probably get along with that. I'm gonna have a look at one of those. when I
It
go
looked
back
nice.
down.
It really
Yeah,
did.
they're pricey. I think they were $2.90. So yeah, but
Buy
that
once,
would,
cry once.
that would be a good bread baking solution on the bark or on the Kamado Joe, or even in. I don't know if I'd put that in the wood fired oven because
Do not put that in the alpha. I don't think it'll take the heat.
no, the enameled ceramic, the enameled cast iron needs to be kept at below 500 degrees. You don't
Yep.
want to go hotter than that on those pieces. Scott says barkeeper's friend. Yeah, Scott, that would work too. I keep the barkeeper's friend here, and I also keep the cream version of that, the kind that's in the squeeze bottle, the white cream. I use the white cream and cleaning out most of my stainless steel cookware. These things right here, these stuff like this, I clean with that cream version of the barkeeper's friend, unless it's something really nasty. But yeah, barkeeper's friend is some amazing stuff. Yeah, Anthony, I don't have any updates about that yet. I talked to Jason earlier this week, and they still don't have anything set in stone yet. And I'm hoping we can get that nailed down here in the next couple days. I'm hoping. And like I said, as soon as I know, I'm going to start pumping it. I'll talk about it here. And in fact, that might be a good night for me to try to once again beg Jason or Gary or both of them even to come on live with us one Friday night and talk about it. Because they know as well as I do that there's people that'll travel from abroad to come to that event because it's been packed every time they've done it. And we've missed two now for COVID, right?
Yeah, 2 years now.
The last 2 years have been no shows. We didn't get to do the June 2020 event. We didn't get to do the December 2020 event. We didn't do June or December events. Typically they
No,
try
we've
to
missed
do
four.
two.
We've missed 4 events now.
We missed 4 total now to COVID, but
Yep.
they're ready to get this rolling again. So expect it to happen, but I can't talk dates just yet. I'm really hating that because I really want to talk dates. So today, last night I was surfing around Facebook before I went to bed, and Myron Mixon made a post. He said, "Hey guys, I'm going to be in Elkin, North Carolina tomorrow at Lowe's Home Improvement." So it turns out that Lowe's, I guess all the Lowe's, I don't know if all of them are just this one or what, they're going to start carrying some Myron Mixon rubs and sauces in their barbecue area. So Myron's going to Lowe's today, and they're going to be doing some cooking demos and have some other things going on. So I loaded Tanya up, and we went, oh crap, we went to the Lowe's up in Elkin, North Carolina, which is about an hour or so from here, and just to visit. And I wanted to get the opportunity to see Myron again. Hang on, I'm getting logged back into my Google account. So
Yeah.
I went up and got to meet Myron again. He remembered me. He had a good time when we had him on here talking about the bark that night. So
He's an entirely different guy in person than he is on his show.
Well, I don't know, man. He's still as cocky as.
But he's down to earth. He'll talk barbecue with you all day long.
Yeah, and we did. We had a pretty good crowd there, so I didn't hog much time with him. I had Tanya snap a picture of me with Myron because I had never done that in the times that I've met him in the past, and I meant to take my books up there and get him to autograph them, and I totally walked out the door and forgot all about that, and I was kicking myself for not doing it. But I'll see him again, and when I do, I'll have the books with me. But anyway.
Yeah, he's got a new YouTube video out, just published this week on, he calls it
I saw it, but I don't.
Legs, I think is what he calls it.
Anthony, he did not. I asked him about that, and they also don't have an update, any new information yet on peach pellets. I asked David Mixon was there as well, and I met David. That's the first time I've met David, and I asked David about the peach pellets, and he didn't have any new info on that either. But I bought some of Myron's rubs. Lowe's was selling these, so I bought a bottle of the original rub. I bought a bottle of the Honey Money Cluck, the chicken rub, and I bought a bottle of the Rub-a-Dub rib rub. So I'm going to be trying these guys out sometime soon. They all look good. I met Mike Spate, who is the rep for Myron Mixon for Atlanta Grill Company. Mike was there, and Mike, he gave me a few other things to bring home. He gave me some bottles of some of the Myron Mixon sauces. He gave me another bottle of rub, the hot rub, and he also gave me a bag of the Myron Mixon hardwood lump charcoal that I'll be trying out sometime soon. I'm going to go down. Jeff and I both are going to go visit the Myron Mixon shop in June. Whenever we go down for the Atlanta Grill Company event, whenever that happens, we're going to, like I said, when that event happens, it's going to be a Saturday event. But Tanya, I don't know yet if Tanya's coming with me or not. She may. I don't know if she's decided yet. I really feel guilty dragging Tanya down there for that, and we'll figure out if she wants to come or not. But maybe we'll ask her here in a minute. But I'm going to make a 3-night event out of that. I'm going to go down to Mixon's place on Thursday and visit them down there on a Thursday, and then go back to Roswell and spend Thursday night in Roswell. And I'm going to hang out in Roswell on Friday. I'll probably, if Chef Eric's going to be at this event and be cooking, I'm probably going to hook up with Chef Eric and see if there's any kind of prep that I can help with maybe. And also that evening, if we've got some people coming in from out of town that want to get together for something that evening, maybe we'll do that. and then I'll spend the night again. And Saturday we'll do the event, and maybe do something as well Saturday night. So I'm planning to spend Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night in Roswell when this event comes. So um, I'd love to meet any of you guys that come on here on Friday night. Like I said, I'll tell you, I'll give you as much advance notice as I can. But if you can come down for this event, it'll be well worth your time. You will enjoy it, especially if you've never visited Atlanta Grill Company before. It's a crazy place, isn't it, Jeff?
It's the big boy toy store. Yeah, I mean, be it barbecue, be it wood-fired ovens, be it smokers. I mean, he's got everything that you could possibly want. And
Yeah.
if there's something that he doesn't have and you talk to him, he's more than likely willing to get it in. I mean, the guy, yeah, John and I mean, we always talk about AGC, and most of you people on here, you've bought from AGC. We can't say enough good things about them. I mean, customer service.
Yeah. And guys, let me tell you, let me be upfront and honest with you. I don't want to hide anything from you, and I don't want to be disingenuous. Atlanta Grill Company does provide me with some things, but I have spent a fortune at Atlanta Grill Company, and I continue to spend money there. A lot of this stuff that I have, I've paid for. You know, the Alpha, I bought the Alpha oven, and I bought the PK grill. Bought both of the PK grills that I have, and this stuff is not all given to me. I'm spending quite a bit of money with Atlanta Grill Company. Most of the accessories I've bought have all been out-of-pocket expenses. I'm a big customer there as well. So
I've dropped a couple coins there.
Yeah, Jeff spent way more money there than I have. I know. Jeff's wife has a really nice collection of Le Creuset that they keep adding on to. Jeff, did y'all stop by there yesterday?
No, we did not. We didn't go to AGC. We figured we went last week or last Friday. So every time we go in there, we add a piece of Le Creuset. You know, so matter of fact, last week I think I got out the cheapest. You know, I only dropped between the two trips. I went there Friday and then I went back Saturday to get a bunch of wood for the Alpha. I think I only dropped about $3. That was light.
I'm going to go down there one day this month. I don't know which day yet. I'm going to get down there once before the end of the month just for a visit. I don't know what day yet. It's hard to say, but I'm going to drop in down there. When was the last time? Was I there in February? I don't remember I think it was January.
Yeah, you were down there in February. Yeah, you were.
Was I? Okay.
Yeah. Because you went the week that I couldn't make it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I went the week right after you.
Yeah. Ed, Gary's running the warehouse. The time I visited, I've only been down to their new warehouse once, and I went down there basically just to see what was going on. And I didn't stop Gary from working. Gary was unloading a shipping container full of Kamado Joes when I got there. And it was Gary and there was one other guy there. Gary's not running it all by himself. He's got some help. Dennis, no, I don't work for Atlanta Grill Company. I'll tell you about that here in just a minute.
He's by himself now because both his guys are on active duty. They got called up to reserve.
Okay, well, maybe
he's by himself right now. He's going crazy.
I've tried to talk to Jason a couple times this week, and I've called the shop, and Marcus has been at the shop, and Jason's been over at the warehouse. So I think Jason's down there helping him. But Dennis, I do not work for Atlanta Grill Company. Here's what happens, and this is it. Atlanta Grill Company pays me to make the videos that I make, and they pay me to help with social media promotions. I'm not an employee. I get paid by Atlanta Grill Company on a contract basis mostly for making the video content that I make. I make all of these videos that are Atlanta Grill Company branded that get posted on their Facebook page and on their YouTube channel. And the extra stuff I do on their Facebook page, like the Rub of the Month post, the Sauce of the Month post that we're doing this year, the Gadget of the Month post, that work, they pay me to do that. So that's how my relationship works with Atlanta Grill Company. I'm not an employee. Uh, you could call that an employee maybe if you wanted to. It depends on how you look at it. I'm a contract service I contract my services to Atlanta Grill Company. They pay me to do these things. Yes, Stephen, I'm a 1099 subcontractor. Exactly. That's exactly the way that works. So yeah, but I'm not an employee.
And I'm not an employee either. I love AGC, and I mean, I can't say enough good things about them.
The way I used to do this exact same thing for Kamado Joe, and after the buyout, uh, Atlanta Grill Company approached me on more than one occasion saying, "Why don't you? Would you like to do some of that for us?" And at first, I didn't think they were serious, and I didn't know if I would be able to pan out doing content for Atlanta Grill Company and Kamado Joe. And Kamado Joe, their marketing people at the time got to the point where the content I was making for them, they were paying me to do it the same as they always had been. I was doing one video a month or one video a week. That's all. I wasn't doing any extra social media stuff other than being a fanboy of Kamado Joe, which I still am. I have lost no love for Kamado Joe, so don't take it that way. So
True, Stephen.
Yeah, yes, Stephen, I'm one too, and I admit it. But as you know, Kamado Joe was not really doing anything with the content I was making. They would post it on their YouTube channel, but they weren't promoting it on their Facebook page or anywhere else. And I actually got to where I felt guilty about sending them a bill every month because they weren't really using my content anymore. And so I decided to stop doing that. I did it for both. I did it for Atlanta Grill Company and Kamado Joe side by side for a while, which is a lot of work. And I didn't want to make 2 videos a month or 2 videos a week. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot of work making these videos. I don't want to do it twice a week. So I talked to the Kamado Joe people and said, hey, I'm going to stop doing this directly for you guys. I said, I'm going to do it for Atlanta Grill Company since the Atlanta Grill Company wanted me. And I said, I will still be promoting Kamado Joe. I will just be doing it through Atlanta Grill Company instead of Kamado Joe. And this is working out fairly well for me because, as you are well aware, I'm getting the opportunity to not only promote Kamado Joe, I'm getting to promote a lot of exciting new equipment that I wouldn't be doing otherwise, like the Bark, the Myron Mixon, this amazing pellet smoker. Something I haven't done much with that I'm going to get some more in this spring and summer is the Napoleon gas grill. I have that here as well. The Alpha oven, the new PK 300 Aaron Franklin, guys. I love that thing. That thing is a beast charcoal grill, and those are going to be the primary things I'm going to be working with. Those 4: the Napoleon, the Kamado. Let's see, the Napoleon, the Kamado Joe, the PK grill, and the Bark. Those are going to be my 4 primary things. But that gives me some variety. It keeps the things I'm doing fresh because I can pick which system I want to use, and I can do anything I want to do on all of these systems. It's really a lot of fun to be able to switch around, and it gives me some variety. Scott, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it because their rubs and sauces, Gary and Jason will wholesale those to anybody who wants to resell them, if I'm not mistaken, because I know of one other place that is or was carrying those. The Louis Meat Market and Deli out in the Memphis, Tennessee area was carrying some of the Atlanta Grill Company product there. And if you have a business and you're interested in that, contact them because I believe they will. They will allow you to sell. They'll wholesale you their stuff. Ed, if you haven't tried the Atlanta Grill Company white sauce, I'm going to have to recommend it because there's not a lot of people that make that white sauce besides the Big Bob Gibson brand. Jeff, are you familiar with anybody else that makes the Alabama white sauce?
There's a couple other people out there, but and I've tried one or two of them. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but the AGC white sauce, that's a good white sauce. And as I said, on several occasions, I like mixing that with the sweet, do a 50-50, and man, that's off the hook.
I like the AGC white sauce better than I like the Big Bob Gibson brand. I've had both, and I like the Atlanta Grill Company rendition of that much better than the Big Bob Gibson. And for those of you who want to know, the Big Bob Gibson brand is those are the people who invented that sauce. The Chris Lilly, if you guys are familiar with him, I don't know if Chris invented that sauce or not, but
it's just got a great flavor. I mean,
it's a different kind of sauce, but I really do like it's got mayonnaise in it. It's I've made it from scratch a couple of times, and I've never come up with one from scratch that was really awesome. But try the Atlanta Grill Company white. Chris, I haven't been buying my lump charcoal from Atlanta Grill Company. I've still got some Kamado Joe lump that Kamado Joe provided me with, but when I buy my own lump, there are two brands that I buy. I buy the Royal Oak from Walmart. That's one of my favorite charcoals. And if I want a higher density, less clean burning charcoal, I will buy the B&B from Academy Sports. But Atlanta Grill Company, if you're going to buy your lump from Atlanta Grill Company, they've got Kamado Joe, they've got Jealous Devil, they've got their own house brand. What's that white bag brand they've got down there that's in the white bags, Jeff? I can't remember what it is.
That's what I was just trying to think of, because I'm visualizing in my mind. There's like 5 bags, 5 different brands of lump charcoal across that front wall.
I can't remember the name brand of it without seeing it, because I think the only lump charcoal that Atlanta Grill Company will ship is their own house brand. That's the only one they've got enough margin in to be able to afford to ship it.
Mm-hmm.
And Huzaifa, I don't know who does the design, but I'm pretty sure I know who makes it, and I'm fairly sure they do the design. It's Lane's Barbecue out of Bethlehem, Georgia. Lane's makes the rubs. I think Lane's may formulate those rubs for Atlanta Grill Company, but they're all exclusive to Atlanta Grill Company. They are not rebranded versions of anything else that's available anywhere else. They are exclusive. Yeah, they do, Chris. They do sell Fogo as well. I forgot about Fogo. I've only used Fogo a limited number of times. I don't have a whole lot of experience. Yeah, that's right, Ed. It was invented by Big Bob Gibson's Barbecue, which was now a Chris Lilly owned endeavor. So my glass is empty. So does that mean we're done?
Mine's not quite empty yet. I got.
Well, what are you waiting on?
It's done.
So we have a dead soldier in the man cave, so we have to salute. So you get a dead soldier with that every time you open one, though. That's not a soldier. Well, I've got a new bottle of this in a cabinet. So
John, you didn't take your hat off, buddy.
Oh, well, I didn't say Tennessee. I didn't say Tennessee whiskey.
Thank you.
Let's bring Tanya back. I see Tanya yawning in the background. Watch this. Look at her.
Oh man.
We bored Tanya to death tonight. So, all right. Well, that's what I have for this week. But like I said, next week,
I got a lot of cooking going on next week.
Yeah, I might do some. I'll go find me a nice sashimi grade tuna fillet somewhere, and that's another real simple, real quick cook. Jeff, I'll do the River Street Seaboard on that, but I'm going to need one of the areas I'm weak in when it comes to seared tuna like that is I'm going to need a drizzle sauce for that as well. What do I need to do? What kind of sauce do I need to make? I'm going to have to make a sauce because you don't want that with just this on it. It needs a sauce.
Well,
Something to
a
drizzle
lot
on.
of them are using like almost like a teriyaki based sauce, but I mean, being on the keto, that's not
Well,
going to fly.
Well, I'll make it, because when I do it, I'm probably only going to eat 1 or 2 pieces of that, and I wouldn't be taking in enough carbohydrates from that to worry about it. So I want to make something that is formidable to go with this. So it could be a teriyaki. I can make teriyaki. That's no problem. I can make that from scratch, and I can spruce it up. You know, I can make something that's outside the box teriyaki.
I said, well, you know me, I'm real stickler on my carbs.
What
I
kind
don't
of
even go by
ginger sauce
that
could I
carb
make?
thing, man. I go by straight carbs.
Well, what kind of ginger sauce could I make to go on that?
Ginger sauce would be good.
On tuna?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I'll do some research on that over the weekend and figure out. I don't want to do the traditional thing. Everybody makes these, they shake, sesame seeds on top of this, and
Stephen, on that tuna from Aldi, that's good tuna too. But
it might be, but guys, I refuse to shop at Aldi.
they got John. I said the same thing, and some friends of mine, really said, "Hey, you got to try this. You got." I'll tell you what, they got some good stuff there. You got to.
Well,
you got to look for it.
I'm
But
not,
problem
I'm
is,
not
a
arguing.
lot of
I'm
it
not
is
arguing that
seasonal.
they don't have good stuff. I'm not arguing that they don't have good stuff. I'm sure they got good stuff. I've bought some stuff there in the past, but one of the things when it comes, I've never been a huge stickler about this as much as I should have, but when it comes to Buy American, the Buy American philosophy, one of the things I can do is I can go to any grocery store here, and just about everything that I buy off the shelf in any grocery store is made in the USA, unless I go to Aldi.
Andrew brought up a good sauce for the ahi tuna too, which I wasn't even thinking about.
Wasabi.
Brought up the wasabi sauce. That would be excellent.
Well, that brings up another conundrum for me. Living where I live, wasabi is not a real wasabi, and if I make a sauce on a video and call it wasabi sauce and it doesn't have real wasabi in it, the food police are going to pound me to a paste, because I wouldn't even know where to go to buy real wasabi.
You don't have any Chinese markets in your area?
They're not going to have it. No, and technically, no, I don't, because it's all the Asian markets in my area are Vietnamese, and
Vietnamese is going to have it. It's got Chinese or Japanese.
There's a huge difference when these markets in my area all label themselves as Asian, but they're Vietnamese, and you cannot find things in these Vietnamese markets that are typically Chinese or Japanese. They're not there. There are some things I can get. I can get some. Even the Red Boat soy sauce or the Red Boat fish sauce that I buy, I believe that's a Vietnamese product as well. But
as Andrew said, you could even go with the powdered wasabi to make your sauce.
Well, let me look into it, and what I'll do is I've come up with a solution when I know the food police are gonna be ugly to me. I claim it. I state it as a man cave version of a wasabi sauce, and then when they come pounding out and say, "Hey, man," I said, "This is a man cave version of something," because I've learned through all my experience in making video is if you claim something as being authentic in any way, shape, or form, people are going to come out of the woodwork to tell you why what you did is not authentic.
And what's really bad about it is in the comments they'll contradict themselves.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's fish or cut bait.
Cindy says I can make a ginger sauce and use my monk fruit as a sweetener in it. How about that, Jeff?
That would work.
I
I'm
bought monk
still
fruit.
not entirely sold on the monk fruit. It's the flavor, but in a lot of sauces you can get rid of that, like the ginger, because the ginger is so prominent. It would be good in a wasabi sauce. Anything that's got an ingredient that is, I'm gonna say, intense, will take away from that. I call it the medicine-y taste of monk fruit.
Well, I definitely can buy fresh ginger root.
Hmm.
Publix has that. Publix is maybe one of the few places around here I can get fresh ginger root,
Stephen,
and I
I'm going
can.
to answer this question for you. No, as a matter of fact, I have a fun fact to share with you. Many people don't know this, but in John's youth, he was a bagger. And not only was he a bagger, but he was a bagger when they first came out with plastic bags. And he had to attend a special class on how to bag groceries with
I
plastic.
didn't understand I didn't understand what Stephen was saying. There's why I didn't answer it. And it's not no. That's not why I don't like Aldi. No, the main reason I don't like Aldi is they make you pay a quarter to use a shopping cart.
You get your quarter back. Now, John, wait. I'll tell you what. Think about the philosophy behind that. It is great because you don't have these shopping carts being left all over the parking lot.
This is
Everybody
true.
brings it back to the front. They plug it in. They get their quarter back. You don't have the
Hey,
shopping
Stephen,
carts being left in people's neighborhoods.
I've got zero problem with American chocolate. I'm a Hershey's guy.
No,
Now,
man. If you don't have
Stephen,
Belgian chocolate, you ain't
I
got
totally
chocolate.
agree with you here because I do love the chocolate from Aldi's.
I've had some great chocolate thanks to Tanya. When Tanya went to Europe a couple of years back, Tanya brought back chocolate from Switzerland and from Belgium. And let me tell you something. Oh boy, it was good. But there's great chocolate to be had that's made here too. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the chocolate
I don't.
connoisseur there.
I beg to differ with you, John, on chocolate. I mean, and I've had chocolate from everywhere, and German and Belgian chocolate will far exceed
Well,
anything you get in the States. Anything.
I have recently started enjoying some high quality cheeses from Europe. The
Oh yeah.
Emmentaler, the Emmentaler is one I've been experimenting with here lately. And what I'm trying to find is a source here where I can buy some of the longer age versions of the Emmentaler. All I'm able to find so far is the stuff that's 4 month. And I'd really like to get some of that 12 and 18-month versions of that. And I haven't been able to find that yet, even at a
No.
Tanya, was it the fresh market where you got this last block that we bought?
It was indeed.
But it's still only
There's
4 months.
We haven't
there's
gone to
some
the
online
cheese
German
shop.
markets that you can get it from too.
Yeah. That'd be funny buying Swiss cheese from a German market.
Well, here's our fun fact. We'll let everybody think about this for the week. Can we guess how many pounds of chocolate I brought back from the European trip?
I don't even remember, but it was a lot. It was
Well,
a
the
bunch.
last I might match you with that there, Tanya. The last time we were in Germany, we brought back a whole suitcase of Haribo gummies.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love those.
We buy
Yeah.
those. We buy those locally, but
Yeah, but there are certain ones that you cannot get here in the States. I mean, when you
Yeah.
go to a Haribo store in Germany, John,
Yeah.
it's about I'm going to say a 2,000 square foot store, and it
Mhm.
is floor to ceiling different
Yeah.
gummies. I mean, they've got
Well,
egg gummies. They've got, I mean, just everything under the
Well, I'll
sun.
be honest. I brought back from Germany the Kinder Surprise before they allowed them in America again.
Yeah.
I snuck in 2 of the Kinder Surprise toy eggs filled with Kinder Surprise eggs. So I brought back that.
Tanya, I
and
brought back a
gummies.
sled in my suitcase from Germany.
well, Tanya.
One of the nice
Tanya,
things when you're overseas in Germany, they have these things called flow markets. What they are is a flea market, but they're
Yeah.
called flow markets in Germany. And you can get some of the most interesting things. And I brought back the old style sled. And just so happened this sled fit upside down in my suitcase. Well, you got the runners. So you basically got your whole suitcase if you got one of those soft-sided suitcases. So
Yeah.
it just makes kind of like a hard side, and you got your whole suitcase really to pack in the sled. And that worked out really well.
Andrew, where was that factory? Is that stuff made in Japan, Tanya? Is that a Japanese product?
No, Hairbo's German.
Is it made in
German.
Germany?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
why did I think that was Japanese?
I don't know. That you might have been thinking about the Kasuji gummies that the
Haribo's
I don't
German
know.
all the way.
I thought that stuff was Japanese for some reason or another.
No. This is totally German, and there's a difference
Okay.
in the German recipe and the American recipe. And FYI, if you shop carefully on Amazon, you can find some of the German stuff there. You could also find the German version in the world market, but be sure to look at your labels because the German-made one is better than the American-made one because they use different ingredients.
Oh,
Not that I eat a
well.
whole lot of candy.
Either do
No.
I, but like I said, we brought back a suitcase full. And I didn't eat any of it.
Gummies are off my diet for a while.
Yeah.
I'm making progress though. I for the last 2 weeks I've been against the wall. I haven't lost any more weight, but I'm weighing in tomorrow. But I feel like I'm moving forward again. So hopefully I'll get on the scale and I'll have lost another pound or 2 or 3 or whatever.
Well,
So,
I've been out of ketosis for a week now because of being up here. There's
Yeah.
certain restaurants that I want to go to that have certain foods that I want to eat. So I've been
Jeff,
off
you've got to
ketosis
do
now for a week.
what I do, Jeff. You've got to not sweat it so hard. Every now and then, I'm not worried about it so much. I'm doing well. I'm still making forward progress, and every now and then I feel bad for Tanya, and occasionally I'll throw up my hands and say, "Let's go out." I said, "Let's have a cheat meal," and I'll let Tanya pick where we're going to go, and that's what we do. And I'm still making forward progress even doing this. So it's not a big deal to drop off
Well-
of ketosis occasionally.
Well, like I say, John, it's not so much the weight with me. It's that
Yeah.
A1C thing. I
Right.
want to, and even though I'm out of ketosis, I'm not going out there and eating sweets.
Well,
But-
on my birthday meal was a trip to Five Guys. I had a double cheeseburger and a mess of French fries on my birthday, and I
Killed
enjoyed
ketosis.
I didn't gain any weight though. I stayed that probably contributed to me not losing weight that week, but I didn't gain any. And I know I came out of ketosis, and I haven't checked my ketones level lately, but that was a great. I enjoyed every bite of that cheeseburger and every one of those French fries. And
Well, I was 67 days in ketosis. And like I said, this last week I've been out, but I'm hoping by Wednesday, Thursday next week, I'll be back in ketosis and continue on until.
it was a lot of calories, but man, it was worth every bit of it. I enjoyed it, and I feel zero guilt for that because of how well I do every other day. And I've got to allow myself to treat to stuff like that occasionally, or I'll never make it. But
Oh, absolutely. And that's
on
why
a
I don't care about
typical
this
day-
week being off.
on most days, I'm having less than 20 grams of carbs a day. And I haven't had Burger Republic, Steve, and I'm not familiar with that. In my town, the only high-end burgers we have, if you can call Five Guys a high-end burger, is Five Guys. And we've got this place called BurgerFi, which is a
Yeah.
more expensive and not quite as good version of Five Guys. And I don't
Do you have a
care.
Mooyah
Okay.
there, John?
A what?
A Mooyah burger place?
No.
Mooyah.
I've never heard of it. James, thanks for coming with us tonight. We'll hope to see you again next week. Guys, James is another Myron Mixon Bark guy. He's cooking up a lot of great stuff on the Bark pellet grill. And Anthony, the alcohol intake that's an interesting thing. I've actually been reading about that. If A1C is of a concern to you, and I'm no doctor. I'm not giving medical advice here, but one of the things I've been reading is moderate alcohol consumption is good for your A1C, unless your doctor tells you that you have other problems that are going to be complicated by that alcohol intake. So
Wait, clarify that. Minus beer.
beer, well, yeah, beer, yeah.
When
yeah,
we say
beer,
alcohol, we're talking bourbon, scotch,
wine needs to
tequila.
be on. Wine's got to be on that same list as beer, but the spirits, the
Right.
the
Liquor.
highly fermented stuff, yeah, liquor, these things can improve your A1C under some circumstances, but not for everybody. But still, I'm drinking 2 nights a week now. I've gotten to the point where I always have my Friday night drink, but I'm typically having bourbon on Monday night as well. And Jeff just says 1. 60 pounds on Beer Fit. I don't know about the Beer Fit diet. I mean, I guess if all you had was beer, if you went on a beer only diet, beer has a diuretic effect. And a lot of people talk about beer as beer is not something you buy, it's something you rent because it passes through you so quickly. But beer's got a lot of carbs in it. It does. And your body's going to do what it does with carbs, even no matter where they're coming from. So, people who have everybody's metabolism is not created equal. Some people burn calories better than others, and I have to work at it. My metabolism's not like that. I've been out here running. I've been trying to get my running game going again, and walking and running every day. I run every other day. I walk every day, and I'm trying to burn a lot of calories. So.
It gets older. It gets worse as you get older, John, because
I'm not buying. I don't buy that. My mom's telling me that, and I don't seem to be having any more trouble losing weight now than I ever have in the past. What I've got to do.
You get older and you will. I weighed 129
yeah.
pounds when I got married, dude.
What
I had
I've
a
got to
metabolism
do,
that would just smoke anything off.
My problem is figuring out the maintenance and how to maintain once I get where I want to go. And I did fairly well last time, but this is a long story, but I think Tanya and I did 30 days of the Whole 30, and that ruined me on my last diet. After I got off the Whole 30, I was craving things so badly that I kind of lost control of what I was eating. And I blame it on that.
30 is such a hard crash diet.
The one thing I learned about Whole 30.
Most people that I know that do the 30-30 have gained back just about everything that they've lost because of the cravings.
The thing about Whole 30 is the only way to do Whole 30 is to prepare all of your meals yourself from scratch. You can't go anywhere. There's nothing you can buy out anywhere and have it Whole 30 compatible. You've got to prepare it from scratch yourself at home. And if you're home all the time and not out running around, you can do that if you want to. But to me,
absolutely no processed food.
I think keto is a better solution for me than Whole Foods because I can go to just about any restaurant I want to go to, and I can find something on that menu that I can eat that's keto friendly. Now they may bring me a plate. Well, yeah, they might bring me a plate of food that's got a bunch of, like when I go to Tanya and I go to the Lone Star Steakhouse or the Longhorn Steakhouse occasionally, and I'll either get a salmon, or I'll get their Red Rock grilled shrimp, or I'll get their sirloin and Red Rock grilled shrimp. But all of that comes on. There's a bed of rice on the plate, and I just have them leave that off. I can't eat the rice, or they'll double up my broccoli instead if I want. Their steamed broccoli is pretty good. They brought me a plate of broccoli.
That looks.
Last time we went there, they brought me a pile of broccoli that I couldn't even eat all of. It was so huge. And you got to be careful. Green vegetables are not low. They're low carb, but you got to watch how many of them you eat. Green beans. I love my green beans, but I've got to have small portions of it because there's carbs there. Green vegetables are not. They are low carb, but there's carbs there. If you're counting carbs, you got to watch for them. So.
And that's the thing with the keto. There's so many vegetables and fruits that are not keto friendly.
No
They're
fruits,
real
keto.
limited, and thank God the ones that are, I like. I love my Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, well, Brussels sprouts, something. Yeah, Hank, glad you can make it with us. I know we're running long again, but we just get to rambling here at the last 30 minutes, and I'm about ready to call it a day too. I'm gonna go chill. My racing season starts for me tomorrow. F1 is back. Um, Tomorrow's qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix that will be run on Sunday, and I think the qualifying is at about 11 a.m. my time. So somewhere along in there. So I'll watch qualifying live, and I'll have to watch the race replay Sunday afternoon because I'll be sleeping when the actual race runs. But it's racing season. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a big F1 fan, and it's been a long, long
Oh,
year.
Tanya's ready to call it a night.
Yeah. All right,
She's
Tanya.
rocking.
Appreciate it. Guys, we're going to shut down. And like I said, I'm going to talk to my buddy Glenn down in Australia, and hopefully we'll have Glenn on here with us next week, and we'll get to look at some of the amazing things Glenn does on his Kamado grill. So, guys, have a good week, and we'll see you next Friday night.
Take care.